Hello and welcome back to another Daily Calm with Pastor Tom. Today I'm in Genesis in the last chapter, chapter 50. It's a famous passage. Here Joseph is being reunited with his brothers, these brothers that sold him into slavery, these brothers that Joseph seemed to have forgiven but are now a little concerned. Now that dad is dead, they're worried if Joseph's still going to take care of them. And Joseph, when they come and Joseph approaches him, he says this famous line. He says, look, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. What you intended for evil, God intended for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. What did Joseph mean by that? He's saying, look, what you intended was evil, and there's no denying it. There's no sense in saying that, well, what you did wasn't that bad. No, it was evil, and you intended to harm me. But what you didn't count on was a God who can work all things together for good. And that's exactly what he did. Because the brothers harmed him, he was thrown into a pit. And because he was thrown into a pit, he was picked up by some slave traders making their way to Egypt. Because he was picked up by slave traders, he made his way to the house of Potiphar. And because he advanced in the house of Potiphar, Potiphar's wife made a false accusation. And because of that evil, he was found in prison. And because of the people he met in prison, he was finally brought before Pharaoh. And because he was brought before Pharaoh, he interpreted dreams. Because he was interpreted dreams, Pharaoh appointed him over all the crops. And because he was appointed over the crops, sure enough, there were 7 good years and 7 years of famine. And no telling how many people were saved in an emergency, a global crisis, were saved. Because what was originally meant for evil, God turned around and worked it for good. What does it have to do with us today? You can't help but think that a global pandemic is something that's evil. It's brought about by the enemy. And Satan wants to steal and kill and destroy. I imagine that he wants to keep people from the knowledge of God. He wants to keep people from experiencing love of God, but he overplayed his hand. And already we're seeing as people are fearful and panicked, they're turning back to the most basic things in life. They're turning back. They're examining what really matters. And many people are and are going to come to faith in God, because what the enemy intended for evil, God is already working for good. He works all things together for good. Let's trust him. Let's be those people for whom that promise is for. He works all things together for good to those who love him, to those who are called according to his purpose. Let's be called according to his purpose today. And be calm, knowing that he's working all things for good.